Welcome to Art Scene. As you can tell, we are outside and we're at a place called the Ravine. It's in the Edge district of Memphis. The Edge was a real big district for a while, and then it kind of got quieter, more quiet, and now it's back, and there's the Ravine, and all kinds of things happen here. In the future, we're going to be talking with maybe some architects who worked on the Ravine, how they designed it, but in the meantime, what happens at the Ravine. One thing is Memphis Pro Wrestling, and we have Bobby Ford with us. Bobby, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And you are a Memphis Pro wrestler.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't look like a wrestler. I thought they were big.
Well, you know,
you're tall. I'll give you that.
Well, they come in all shapes and sizes. You know, there's a variety of people. Not everybody has to be the big bodybuilder style. You know, I'm a different type of athlete. I move pretty fast. I jump pretty high, and once I get a hold of you, you're pretty much got. So.
He runs scared. That's what he's. No. So, how did you get into wrestling?
Were
you like a high school wrestler, and does it go from there?
No, I played a little football in high school. I'm from Ripley, Tennessee. We didn't have a wrestling team, so there wasn't an opportunity to do any amateur wrestling. But I came to Memphis. I grew up watching professional wrestling, like just about every pro wrestler I know. I grew up watching it, thinking, well, wouldn't it be fun to do that? And then I came to Memphis and got distracted. I was in college and stuff like that, and then I found the local independent.
College was a distraction.
Yeah, from everything else.
Yeah, heard it here.
I found the local independent professional wrestling scene and kind of, I saw what was happening. I was like, maybe I could do this, and then it took me about 2 years to find a place to consistently train and learn how to be a professional wrestler. But then once that happened, I've kind of just, the rest is kind of history. 4 years flew by, and now I'm the owner and operator of my own wrestling company, Tiger Pro Wrestling. We have shows all over the city. I'm sure we can flash the schedule up on there somehow, or our website and Instagram and all that.
Go to the website.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. Wrestling has always been popular in the South, in the Mid-South.
Yes, ma'am.
But I never knew anyone who aspired to it. I just always knew wrestlers. I mean, when I was growing up, we had friends who were into it, and they would take me to see wrestling, and I was fascinated by by when they would jump through the air and then land on. I mean, who takes a leap like that, So when you were little, and where did you see wrestling to even think that this might be something you liked?
So the first time I saw wrestling would have just been on TV. It would have been WWE Monday Night Raw. I probably watched it with my dad, and it's kind of for me at the time, it was like if cartoons were real people beating each other up instead of animated.
That's great.
I know people who pretty often will compare professional wrestling to Looney Tunes. Every wrestler's a Looney Tune. So sometimes you watch a match and it's like, well, that's Wile E. Coyote and that's the Roadrunner, and sometimes it's Bugs and Daffy. So I think as a kid, the connection between this media you've grown up watching, it's been kind of like, hey, this is for kids, cartoons, leads to wrestling, and then that's got the athletic and combat side of it that really excites.
It's got real people,
it's got
not
real
animation.
People. Yeah, and then especially I think excites just young boys. I mean, I was a rough kid. I was from Ripley, Tennessee, so
always
we weren't really yeah, they're going to be out here, aren't they?
You attract them. They're fans.
That's me.
Wrestling fans. So how did you find a place to, well, first of all, you said, hey, I think I want to try wrestling. So did you just start jumping the neighborhood kids, or how do you even go, what do you say to your parents? Hey, I want to beat people up.
Yeah, they had known that I had grown up watching it, and they had never turned me away from it or been like, hey, you shouldn't watch that. I know some kids, their parents were like, no, you're not watching that because you get too rowdy. Yeah. You tear up the house. And
I babysat for a friend's 3 boys one time, and she said, don't let them watch wrestling. And I was like, okay. And then they came to me and said, oh, can we watch wrestling? Oh no, your mother said, oh no, she said it was okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And it was not good.
Yeah, now you're
like 2 weeks afterwards. Yeah, and she just laughed at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she told you, she gave you the warning.
But they told me too, and I, for some reason, I didn't think kids lied. What do I know? Total liars.
It's like the first thing they learn how to do, I think.
They're born with it, absolutely.
But yeah, I found like I said, the local scene, which is still, pretty rich and filled with a lot of guys who are really good pro wrestlers, but they're based here and they do the majority of their work here, and we all are kind of chasing the same dream. So I stumbled into that, and I asked around until somebody could get me what I needed.
So is there a wrestling school here?
There is,
like on the
actually.
Corner of Poplar and something, and you go to the wrestling school? Or?
So I actually, I actually operate one. We have a space in Binghamton. Andy Mack is the head trainer. He's been wrestling in Memphis for about 10 years.
I love that you are downtown where lots of people can hit, you don't have to have a ride out to East Memphis. You're right down there. It's like the ravine, right here in the middle of it all.
Yeah, Binghamton's it's a flourishing little area of Memphis. I'm really proud to be there with our school. And then on September 20th, it's with the Binghamton Development Corporation. It's called Binghamton Love Day.
Yes.
They do basically a festival for the community.
Fabulous work.
A lot of kids, a lot of seniors out there, and they invited us to come and put on a wrestling show there. So we came out and had 3 matches, and the kids of course loved it, and then the seniors loved it because they kind of remember the heyday of Memphis wrestling, the Coliseum and Channel 5 and Jerry Lawler, and so it was really nice to go into a community in Memphis, not necessarily my neighborhood, but it's still the city, and I live in East Memphis myself, so it was really rewarding.
I love Memphis.
Yeah,
Memphis.
There's not a place here that I don't want to be, but it was really rewarding to go and serve that community with my passion, with what I do, which is wrestling. Other people have their own things that they use to serve the community, but this is the one that I have, and so it was really rewarding to lean into it and be able to do it for that crowd.
Well, I always look at the artistic part of it because it's art, and when we don't use the fake word, it's art, it's theater, it's entertainment. What about parents who say, I think my kid is interested, but will that make him a bully? What does wrestling do for a young kid?
So as far as watching it, like
as far as being a wrestler,
so
being in the classes.
Well, I would say if you want to be a pro wrestler, you can't come into my school until you're 18. This is not something for children to do.
Okay, good to
know.
So
if you're a kid, if you're a high school kid, or even no matter what your age is, and you want to be a pro wrestler someday, my advice is pick up a sport at your school, be involved with that, take care of your body, learn as much as you can about everything. Like, don't. And this is kind of my advice to all children: is don't rush to be an adult. Don't rush to be something you don't have to be. Like, take this time to learn everything you can.
Let your parents keep paying.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as your parents will pay the bills for you,
take
accept
advantage
that.
of it.
Please don't.
Yeah. And you're saying be athletic, get into some discipline.
Yes. So I'm really a firm believer in like health is holistic. So mind, body, spirit. And if you're lacking in any one area, it's going to detract from the others. So find that way to, if you want to be a pro wrestler, really, if you want to be anything, it starts with taking care of your mind, body, and spirit. Yeah, the longer you're in the world, the longer you're around people, the more people you listen to. Like, if you just keep your ears open, you're gonna pick up on some things that'll really carry you through. So that plus take care of your body would be my advice to any kid or young person wanting to be a pro wrestler that just isn't ready yet.
Absolutely.
But 18 years old, if you're 18 and you want to be a pro wrestler, find me on Instagram or wherever you can find me. Our website, tigerprowrestling.com. Reach out. Like, we'll get you there.
Is it a good amateur sport if you don't want to be a pro, but you just want to know that discipline for your body and you just enjoy that sport? Is there a place for that, or are we just training pro wrestlers?
I would say, yeah, it's just for professional wrestlers. You almost have to be obsessive to really compete or to be successful in pro wrestling. It has to be eat, sleep, breathe.
How about keeping yourself, okay, so you're doing the right nutrition, etc., but you get slammed around in a wrestling.
Sure do. Especially, you mentioned earlier, I'm not the biggest guy on earth. I'm not towering over people, so I get slammed a lot compared to some other wrestlers. So,
but you look good in the little wrestling shorts, right?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I wear the long tights. My legs are a little pale and hairy to be wearing the short ones.
Okay, so depilatories. So how do you guard your health in the wrestling ring? How do you take care of yourself so you're walking out and not being carried out?
So a lot of it is just body control, core strength. If I know that I'm about to fall down, I'm not going to let my head hit. Like, I'm going to, and it's learning how to fall and how to protect your body from these things that happen to you.
So you just don't have to flop, you're saying, which I've certainly done.
Yeah, everybody's kind of done that big, like, where you fall in slow motion. You're like, there's nothing I can do to stop myself.
Yes.
When you train to be a pro wrestler, you learn how to not do that. That is the idea, is learning how to prevent yourself from getting hurt.
So then how do you learn the cool moves, like I said, you know, that when you climb on top of the ropes and you launch yourself off of it. I mean, that's a big leap.
Yeah,
That's a belly flop if you're in the water, and that hurts.
So yeah, I mean, a wrestling ring is, you know, ours is 16 feet by 16 feet. So if you're on the top rope, you're about 7 feet off the ground.
Wow.
And then if you jump up, I mean, you're going to get, you know, 3 to 5 more feet off the ground, and then come down across 16 feet. So I'm going to tell you, nobody really taught me how to jump off the top rope. I just got up there one day and, all right, here we go. And then I did it, you know, and I had to keep doing it until I could learn.
Okay,
but
what if you're the guy on the bottom that the rope jumper is jumping
pray.
on? Oh, pray.
Pray. If you can't move, pray. Those are your options.
Really? So that isn't all planned and choreographed out? That's
Lord.
real?
We don't have to talk about that. TigerProWrestling.com.
Oh, you're not going to give me whisper. I won't tell anybody. So tell me the truth. No. Okay. So so it's not choreographed, and it's not okay. At this point, I'm going to jump on you, and you're going to pretend to be hurt. Because I used to see fake blood spurting out. It would make me cry.
That blood's not fake. I will tell you 100% for a fact that blood is not fake.
That's not
if
good.
You mentioned being from like that North
Jacksonville, Florida.
So you saw Dusty Rhodes growing up.
Yes, I did.
If you find a picture of Dusty Rhodes, especially older, his forehead is scarred from here to here. And it's from being busted open so many times in a wrestling ring.
Blood.
That was probably to, you know,
So
you're probably a small kid crying.
I was crying,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, it's so. No, it's that's what parents tell their kids to keep them from getting too excited or too riled up. But no, that blood was real. Like I said, you can look at a picture of him, and across his whole forehead, it's nothing but scars.
There's a life lived there. So we've got a couple of minutes left. What do you do in the ravine? What's going on with Tiger Pro Wrestling in the ravine?
So we've had one show here. I'd love to have some more, probably in 2026, because we're wrapping up the fall, and we have a lot more dates. But we did a show here on September 13th. It was called The Rumble in the Ravine.
Oh, that's great.
I'm sure I'll point, even though all the cameras are looking at me, but the ring was about right there. And then all the fans kind of sat up on this railway here.
Oh, so they're like looking down at it. Oh, I love that. Like you're in the pit and they're all, that's like Mad Max.
Like you said in the pit, Thunderdome or Gladiator, the Coliseum.
Rumble in the Ravine.
Yeah, the Rumble in the Ravine. We had several matches. If we could go inside, I'll show you something really cool from that night. There was a steel chair that was used in that main event.
I was going to ask if somebody gets hit with the chair, like the folding chair. They always show that.
It was me. It was me. That's a steel chair. That's a steel chair that you're getting hit with, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And I mean, you can move or pray. That's your options. Either don't get hit.
I'm going to say learn to be a pro wrestler, and it's all choreographed, and it's easy. It's featherweight. It's not going to hurt you.
There's nothing easy about pro wrestling. I know.
Like any athletic.
Yes, I know everybody knows that we're entertainment. Like I know the words that people use and the ideas that people have, but everything hurts. You do have to be an athlete. You do have to be tough, but there is nothing more rewarding than going out to have your match, and at the end of the match, you look out and there's a crowd of kids and they're losing their minds about what you just did. You've impacted their day. You've maybe impacted their week or year. Like you never know what some kid in the crowd is going through, and you give them an escape from that. You give them a release, and not just kids. I mean, adults too. Everybody that comes to pro wrestling. I love entertaining people and giving them that release. That's why I do what I do.
And that's why you get out and find out what's going on in Memphis, because there are things all around you may not even know you like wrestling. It's athletics and great entertainment too. So get out there and enjoy it. Bobby, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to come back and talk about some more ravine stuff. Welcome back to Art Scene. We were talking Tiger Pro Wrestling because there's a huge wrestling community in Memphis. Who knew? Now you know. Get out and enjoy it. We're at the Ravine, which is in the Edge District, and it's a relatively new entertainment spot. A lot of stuff goes on here. Project Greenfork is here. This is Leanne with Project Greenfork. Hey, welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you have to do with the Ravine?
So Memphis Made Brewing, which is located here at the Ravine, is one of our Project Greenfork certified locations. They're one of our only Project Greenfork certified breweries. So we have been good friends with them since their tap room in Cooper Young. and have hosted a few events down here. Loving Local, which is one of our annual events. Love Food, Hate Waste. And it's just a great time. It's a great place for people to wander around and be outdoors and enjoy themselves.
Well, it's fabulous. First of all, you can come and visit Memphis Made and see the brewing room, which is cool. You buy the t-shirt. I own their t-shirts. So how do you make a craft beer brewery into a green, sustainable food source?
That's an interesting question. So as Project Greenfork, we are working to reduce
That'll
food waste.
help a lot of beer drinkers. You know.
Right,
Okay.
yes. So spent grains are a big thing that come from the brewing process, and those spent grains make really good food for animals. And so you'll find a lot of breweries in town actually donate their spent grains to people. And so part of Project Greenfork...
They're not alcoholic at that point,
No,
right?
no, they're not.
Darned. I mean,
I know.
Good.
Happy animals, right? No, but not in this particular situation. So Project Greenfork is looking for people who are handling organics responsibly and also using sustainable materials. So you would notice you would never get any styrofoam out of Memphis Made or any of our Project Greenfork certified restaurants. They are working to reduce waste. They are trying to plan well and order well and have on hand only the things that they need. They're using diversion tactics like donation. In many instances for Project Greenfork, it's food donation to rescue organizations, and we work to find appropriate organizations to take surplus food.
who's an appropriate organization to take surplus beer?
Well,
We'll sign up.
unfortunately, our breweries are not donating surplus beer anywhere, although they, I'm sure that would be.
There is no surplus beer. That's
Right,
the answer.
I know. But surplus food coming from other restaurants or catering events. Think about a wedding that maybe you have pans of chicken that never came out to your guests. All of that food is available for donation.
I always joke around saying, did you bring your Ziploc bags?
Right. Well, your compostable to-go container or
Well, now.
reusable, even better.
Oh yeah, I'll get something to go, you know, when I'm eating, and they bring this big styrofoam thing, and I'm like, there's not a thing I can do with that styrofoam.
Right.
I mean, I can break it up and put it at the bottom of a plant pot, you know, to
Yep.
encourage the work.
Yep.
But I'm not a dirt person, so I'm not going to do that. So I hate those. Are we going to reach the day where we should all be bringing our own like glass container
I
to
sure
take home
hope
leftovers?
so.
Is
And
that a thing?
For sure. I mean, a lot of my coworkers, we travel around with containers that we can take food home with.
But y'all are crazy. So how
No,
do you
we're
make
not.
the normal people? How do you make this an everyday thing?
Well, you realize that when you're living sustainably, it's actually a more affordable way to live in most cases. So I'm not buying lots of different Ziploc bags to take things home with, or the restaurant is not having to purchase another material to send home my food with me if I already have it. I bought it once, I take it home, I wash it. Shameless plug to Boshi Botanicals here in town in Chickasaw Oaks. They are the first zero waste store here in Memphis.
Oh.
And she has some fantastic materials for take home containers. So if you don't
no,
have
that's
one,
good to know
go
because
visit
we
her.
don't know. And then you always go get plastic, and now plastic is the new sitting word or smoking or something like that, and you're not supposed to do it. I always, in Ziploc bags, fabulous, better than the, you know, but it always bothered me that you would use it once and then throw it away. And I, who do no house cleaning at all, will actually rinse out a bag, turn it inside out,
Sure.
and stick it on the sink and let it dry, because it's a perfectly good bag. You should be able to do something, put makeup in it when you try, I don't know, something.
See, we agree. Yeah, see,
But
you're one of us.
is that at heart I really am, I'm just lazy. But is that a niche thing, or are we really going to be able to? First of all, I think in the future we're going to have to. And I love, on your website when I went and looked, I love the correlation you make between if you are saving food and not throwing it away, and if you're utilizing your food properly, you start utilizing other things in your life properly too.
It's really true, and we work in K-12 a lot. We have Clean Memphis, which is the umbrella organization of Project Greenfork, has a robust education team, and there are teachers in K-12 schools throughout Memphis regularly. They teach about food waste reduction, but a variety of things, alternative energy, and they have wonderful curriculum. But one thing we do with the students about food waste is we have them do a food waste sort in their own cafeteria. Students bring up trays, the students sort it.
I've seen trash in cafeterias.
Yes, and you
before.
can see how much food is being wasted. And it's a data point for us, and it's a way for us to work with the school district to provide information. But it also is a change agent for those students. You see them realize how much food is going into the trash and how they could empower themselves and other students to practice sustainability in their own cafeterias.
And the point isn't to clean your plate, okay?
Right.
Yeah, the point is to only take as much as you can eat.
Exactly.
However, like when you eat out at restaurants and stuff, do you feel like you're getting your money's worth if you just get a little tiny portion?
Right.
Or, I mean, how do we bring all the restaurants over to our side?
We talk a lot about that when we're working with our restaurants, about how, I mean, I think it's kind of a Southern thing, but for sure in the U.S. as well, that we see abundance as value. And so that sometimes is chosen over a smaller portion of really fantastic ingredients. And so trying to flip that on its head, like realize the care and the work that goes into providing these very special local ingredients in a dish versus an all-you-can-eat pasta or whatever it may be.
And here again, isn't that more work? Is it more expensive for the restaurant? I mean, to do the right thing is not cheap, is it?
Well,
maybe eventually.
Right. I mean, there are costs to everything, but we really try to work with the restaurants on how we can, if we're avoiding food waste before it starts, then we are also saving them money. So one thing that we do,
because you're not buying as much.
Exactly. It's all about planning and preparation.
You're not having to throw away as much and pay those fees.
And sometimes it really is helpful to have an outside set of eyes on what's happening in the operation. We're not there to be the police, we're just really trying to help. And so when we onboard a new restaurant into Project Greenfork, we do a waste assessment. So we have them hold their waste for a day, and we go through it, and we give them back feedback on where we see there might be opportunities for reduction or a change in process that might help them. And that not only reduces food waste and material waste, but it also allows them to save that money to put back into something like a sustainable to-go material or a composting service or a recycling service. Mm-hmm.
How do you donate food to places? Because, aren't you,
Aren't we
how
busy?
Do you police how do you police the food? How do you, and here again, somebody has to pick it up and take it, and you're rewrapping it in something to take it, I'm assuming. It's not,
These are great questions. So
brilliant.
I know, this is what you do, right?
Talk, that's what I do.
So we work with an app called Carrot. Back in 2019.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I think of diamonds, but maybe,
Right.
Okay.
So back in 2019, and this predates my time with Project Greenfork, we started working with Innovate Memphis and Natural Resources Defense Council to figure out what do rescue organizations need to serve people more food. And the rescue organizations I'm talking about specifically are those that are providing food to folks who are food insecure. So they're the last line of that food defense system. And so what we heard from them overwhelmingly is that they needed an app to track this process. They needed to know how much they had on hand. They needed to know it was available in the city. So we looked around and we found an app called Carrot that we brought on in August of 2023. We work with our restaurants, but also any event space or anyone who touches food, anyone who hosts a lunch at their office. We have liability protections in place for commercial establishments, and that is a national liability protection. Tennessee shores that up to say that as long as you're handling food in good faith, that you are doing what you need to do to keep it cold if it's supposed to be, hot if it's supposed to be.
Just like when we go to restaurants.
Just like
we
when you go
expect
to a
that.
restaurant, that you may donate that food at no liability to yourself.
When you bring on a new restaurant to perhaps donate food, are they surprised at what I mean, I would think, well, I don't really have anything left over to donate. I mean, are they, how do you work that into it? How do you make it comfortable for them?
So the app makes it very simple. They list it on the app what they have available at the end of the day or at the end of the event for folks to come in and accept. So someone would choose that donation in the app and then come pick it up. So there's no additional driving that is on the part of the restaurant or the special events location.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah, it is. We look for those things, especially during that waste assessment or as we're looking through their menu, working with them, what those things might be that would be prime for donation. So for us, it's things like, do you have a soup of the day? Or do you...
stuff they make in advance.
Yes.
Okay.
And so for restaurants who are very ingredients based and are, last minute a la minute cooking, there's not always so much of that large scale donation that can happen, but they can use apps like Too Good To Go or Goodie Bag and place single portions of items on an app for customers to come in and get at a reduced price.
So a couple of minutes left. How do you, first of all, how can anybody help, but what do you say to a restaurant to say it's kind of painless and you'll sleep better at night? Join our organization.
I would say it's kind of painless and you'll sleep better. No, I would say let us just come show you. We'll do a waste assessment. It's complimentary, so you can see where you could find value in the work that we're providing. We also have our 6 steps of certification, which are lined out with lots of individual strategies, where we could actually come in and tell you, at this point, here's where you are, and here are a few more things that you could take on or do differently that would move you up to that Project Greenfork certification level. So we do try to make it painless.
And this is something you do for them. They don't have to.
Yes, we do this for them. A certified restaurant does pay us an annual fee. It's $150, so it's minimal. It's just a little skin in the game. But we also offer promotions. We offer safe food handling courses, serve safe courses.
I like that.
Just to make sure that when we're accessing food for folks, that we know along the line everyone is very well versed in what they're doing.
Thanks for being with us today. Look around you. There's so much going on in Memphis at the Ravine. There's a ton of stuff going on, all the way from Tiger Pro Wrestling to Project Greenfork, and ways to get involved in your community because you live here. Get out and enjoy it. Thanks for being with us.
You're watching the Library Channel, a broadcast service of the Memphis Public Libraries and the City of Memphis.